Recording.
Cord.
All right. So I have had some issues this week.
Uh-oh.
So you already know my AC is out of my car. So that's
Yeah.
a plus. That's a positive. I mean, the amount of sweat that I come home with, and I'm just driving. Like, I'm just in my car. And it's 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
just drenched in sweat. And I've got the windows down. And it does not help.
Well, it's like a sauna.
No, it's like, somebody punched me in the face with heat.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like it sucks. Sucks.
It does.
Major balls.
General balls. Colonel balls?
I knew you were gonna say shit like that. You fuck.
No.
So, guess what?
You're sick again.
Well, I don't know. But that wasn't
Okay.
it. We saw the Blue Beetle last night with the
Oh, yeah.
kids. Yeah. And there was one point where a character said something like, "That was not lost on me either." And Ernesto looked at me. Ernesto side-eyed me, and he's like, "That motherfucker." Just like fucking Dustin. Saying these big words for no goddamn reason. That was his look.
It's not even big words. I guess it's just like, you know, the way in which they're arranged.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, though. I'm glad that I'm sneaking into his subconscious everywhere.
This
Like
was
a
the
ninja.
plan.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because, I mean, we saw how he was thinking about Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce going,
Yep.
"What's all this thing?" But school has been good to you so far this week?
School has been pretty good. The kids are pretty good.
Oh, I don't care about the kids. Gross.
And oh man, it was so funny. One morning, Alice came in with some of her little friends, or maybe they were hanging around in there before the bell. And my first period kids started trickling in, and one of them was like, "What do you got going on in there?" Because they were in the cabinet, like
Yeah.
a giant classroom cabinet that's off limits to students. And they're like, "What do you got in there? Snacks?" And I was like, "Maybe, definitely not a dead body." And then he was like, "Okay, but why can't I want to see what's in there? What's in there?" And I was like, "No, you don't." He's like, "Why not?" They looked. And I said, "Well, that's because my daughter was with them probably." And she had already left the room at this point. And he was like, "Your daughter? Your daughter goes here?" And I was like, "Yep." And he's like, "Oh." And I was like, "Yep, she's a freshman." And he's like, "Wait, is Jocelyn your daughter?" And it was another girl who was standing with her. And I was like,
Yeah.
"No, that's not my daughter." And he was like, "Oh, okay." He was very close to figuring it out.
Well, I mean, he couldn't have had too many more to choose from at that point.
Yeah, he did not.
All right, then.
I told him, because I already told my first period that, because they asked what her name was. And I was like, "I think if I told y'all her name, she would unadopt me or something." And they just laughed. So I've been keeping it a secret, though one of them in my first period is her friend. She didn't say anything. She was just silently smiling.
You teach freshmen then?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I taught sophomores, I think, when I first got here.
I took some kids out to Little Elm this morning And I mean kids. They had to have been still high school, but young high school. So freshmen or maybe sophomores.
Yeah.
But I drove them from DeSoto all the way out to Little Elm with the
Huh.
windows down.
Okay.
And
Did
we
they
had
say
to,
anything about it?
no, we listened to NBA Youngboy the whole way.
They chose, I guess.
Yeah, they chose. I had to wash it out with some country music for some reason.
That's funny.
I don't even like country, but I was like, what is the opposite of rap? Country. But at one point, I wasn't even going that fast. I was going like 77 on the highway, which is literally just like what, 7 miles over the speed limit, And
Yeah.
one of the kids goes, "Hey, could you slow down?" I was like, "Did you ask me to slow down just now?" And he was like, "Well, not right now." He goes, "But like when we get to Little Elm, I know there's a lot of cops out over there." And I was like, "All right, I'll keep an eye out."
That's funny. He might be a new driver.
I mean, I don't know. He's a little nerd apparently.
It's good to have a healthy appreciation for the law.
Nah, you should always go fast. Be like Sonic. Gotta go fast.
No.
That reminds me, when I was leaving your house last weekend, Fernando was behind me and I was behind Brandon. Brandon was going so slow that Fernando actually texted our group text and was like, "Speed up." And I was like, "Tell Brandon, he's in front of me, going 20 miles an hour."
That's funny. That's weird.
Yeah,
Maybe he's, maybe that's just his thing, going slow.
yeah. All right. Are you ready to get into it?
I'm ready.
All right, hit him with the intro, Tasha.
Welcome to What M Dreams. I'm one of your hosts, Tasha, and I'm here with,
Dustin?
and we're here to talk to you about dreams. Dreams, dreams, dreams. I closed my eyes for that one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You had to feel the music coursing through your veins.
I guess so.
But maybe you just thought you were going to fall back asleep. I have some bad news.
No.
I had zero dreams.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I take it back. I didn't have zero dreams, but like the few dreams that I did have, I couldn't have even written like one line about what they were.
For real?
Yeah, it was so stupid this week. And I think a lot of it was because of stress, but that's a whole different
Hmm.
thing.
Interesting. Because I feel like when I'm stressed, I dream a lot more.
Really.
Yeah.
I think my brain is too busy going, all right, we got to focus and make sure that like we don't shut out the outside world because just in case anything
Oh,
happens.
that makes sense. Because I think my brain is like, okay, well, you've been going through some shit, so I'm gonna distract you with this fucking weird ass dream.
So did you have dreams this week?
I did. I had a shit ton.
Good. You can
Okay,
be our
ask me if I wrote them
entire.
down.
Oh no. Do I have to ask? Because I think I already know the answer.
Ask me.
Did you write them down, Tasha? No.
No. No. I wrote down a couple of lines of two of them at least. So I didn't forget those at least. But damn, I had a shit ton. And I woke up one morning and I was like, wow, that was a shit ton of dreams.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You can be
Different.
our entire podcast this week. You won't be carrying this motherfucker.
Well, we'll see, because I'm going to try and go by memory for most of it, and you know how that is.
You don't have the memory of a squirrel over here.
Alright, so I am curious though to hear about your not even one line dream.
I mean, honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I know that
Oh,
I had I know that I had dreams, and I know, like, I woke up going, "Oh, I should write that down," and then I went, "Wait," but nothing happened.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start with the dream that was most recent, which was last night. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so here's what I remember. I remember being at a get together with, I don't know exactly who it was, but I'm pretty sure, okay, you'll be able to predict one of the people.
Ernesto.
Yeah, okay, so one of them was that guy, and I'm pretty sure you were the other because it was like a friend group.
Oh, okay.
Alright, and I don't know where we're hanging out, but I think it was like a library.
That seems
uh,
not on brand for us at all.
yeah, no. And there were chairs. But the most memorable part of it is that I was thinking in my dream about how I was feeling left out from other friend groups. And in this dream, one of my friend groups that I missed was Irene and Rad. So in this dream, they were still together.
Wow.
Yeah. And apparently, they had made another friend group with the wife and husband. I think I'm pretty sure it was like Nick and Daisy or something.
Oh.
And also, on top of that, Fernando. Yeah. And I remember in my dream, I was thinking about it, and somebody was showing us pictures of them, Brad and Irene, the other husband and wife. I don't really remember exactly who they were. And also Fernando, tagging along, like having a good old time. So I looked at several pictures of them in different occasions just hanging out. I was feeling very left out. Okay.
Okay, so that's actually something I've been meaning to talk to you about. Ernesto and Fernando and Brandon and I have all sat down and talked about how we're going to find a different friend group without you.
Shut up.
Ernesto was really leading the charge on this one.
He would. He would too.
He was like, she's bringing too many English teachers.
You know what is so funny?
They decided to bring another one.
I mean, I'm 85% gonna invite another one. Yeah. A new one. Like, she's a new teacher too.
I'm just going to start inviting drifters.
That's hilarious.
She's like, hey, you want to pretend to like D&D? Come with me.
I know just the place. You don't know how to play? You never played before? Cool. You'll fit right in.
You guys don't mind the smell. He's been living on the streets for like 6 months.
This is Ed.
Weird, you said Ed. I was thinking Dave. Anyway, continue your dream.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, I saw pictures of them hanging out, and I was feeling some type of way. And because dream, this makes no kind of sense whatever, but I dreamt that someone was recommending reading a book because apparently Irene's husband in the dream, Rad, and the other husband were really, really getting along
Mm,
and bonding over this one book. Okay?
that
Guess what
sounds
it
about
was a
right.
sequel of?
What was it a sequel of?
Harry Potter.
Oh, well, that does not sound like Rad.
No, it doesn't. Also, it was some kind of like, it was like a guy's perspective for some reason. That was important in my dream. That was an important detail for me to remember for some reason. Like it
Was
was a
was Harry Potter
uh
not a guy's perspective?
it was. It was.
Okay.
It was like a guy's bonding perspective.
Oh.
And so in the pictures, Rad and that other husband were all like, I don't want to say lovey dovey, but They
But
were pretty close.
yeah,
Not like gay,
I don't know. It
but
sounds
like
pretty gay.
really buddy buddy.
So not like Rad and Nesto used to be then, but just like,
That's funny.
yeah. No, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, yeah.
And then that part of the dream ended, I guess, because then I was on some kind of like a drinking trip with a group of women.
Okay.
One of them was a tiny lady who looked Asian, and she was older. And I guess in my dream, I was also older. We were old ladies, and we were all hanging out. Were
Did
we
she?
in like a restaurant, like normal human beings drinking and stuff? No. We were like walking around in the grass of some kind of overpass or something. I don't know. It was like outside, but not in a park. It
Okay.
wasn't like a park or anything. It was, I don't know what was going on in that dream. And I remember trying to make this one lady feel better because her husband had left her.
Oh no.
We were all trying to comfort her. We were like, you don't need him, and drinking some more. And that's all I remember from that dream.
Well, that's probably for the best.
Yeah,
I feel like it
it
was
probably
gonna
got
turn
out
into
of
like
hand.
a man.
Yeah,
I was like,
probably.
oh, okay, all right. I might just go over here and pretend to not be one, I guess.
Man. Yeah, that dream I had major FOMO.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you kind of really experiencing it? Like, do you have FOMO about Irene since you guys haven't hung out in a while?
No, not particularly with Irene. But I guess I do kind of feel it sometimes around teacher friend groups. We're very cliquey.
Oh. Well,
And
you
I feel
know,
like I could hang out with the other clique more. And I kind of
yeah.
want to, but I haven't yet. So I guess I should go hang out with them more.
Well, there's a song by a band from Denton named Bowling for Soup, and the song is called High School Never Ends. Basically, just,
It really doesn't.
yeah, you just wind up, you know, changing the people out for new people that wind up acting the same way.
Yep.
Did you ever call Irene? I know you said you were going to the other day.
No, I didn't.
No.
I should.
She she called me yesterday and asked me about the podcast, and then she goes, I had a dream, and I was like, well, you should come on the podcast. And he goes, no, I'll just tell you about it. And I was like, well, you could come on the podcast and tell it. And she was like, no, I don't want to.
It's
And I
funny.
was like, you suck.
You suck.
But then she told me the dream, and I was like, all right, so can I tell it on the podcast? She was like, no. I was like, then I don't
It's
even know the
funny.
point of you telling me this dream.
If we can't share it publicly, okay, on a live
What's the point?
broadcast. Sheesh.
I know.
I'm talking about you. She can share her
Oh,
dream with a friend with no strings attached.
nah. Oh, also, somebody did say that they were listening to our podcast, but that they felt like we went on too many tangents. And I was like, well,
Um,
then you suck. So,
we do go on a lot of tangents.
yeah, it's fine. I think
But
we're
I like
entertaining.
tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there.
Well, enough tangent. Tell me another dream that you had.
Another dream I had. I never did get around to telling that fucked up dream. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tell that one fucked up dream that was pretty long
Okay.
and I had a while back.
All right.
Okay, let me look in my journal. My dream journal. Okay. I named it the awful airplane dream.
Is this like that woman that was like, that motherfucker back there is not real?
No,
Oh, okay.
it wasn't. But I do wonder why I have so many goddamn airplane dreams and I have not been on an airplane in years.
Maybe that's why. Maybe you want to go on a trip.
I guess.
Or maybe bitches be tripping.
Bitches. Oh my god. You are so right.
I feel like that was
Hey,
sarcasm, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to call you out on it.
it was slightly was, but it slightly also wasn't.
Oh, okay.
All right. So my awful airplane dream. I was going out of the country with the kids. I don't remember anyone there except for Aiden, but I know the kids were there. Yeah, well, I knew in the back of my mind that my kids were there, but I remember specifically Aiden. I guess I was just worried about him more because he's so tiny. I do remember a bunch of strangers on the plane with us. In my dream, the plane itself, it was more like you know the planes that are in like military films, a cargo plane,
Yeah. Hmm.
big empty space, strap in chairs along the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It's kind of like that, minus the empty space because there was just lots of strap in chairs, rows and rows of strap in chairs that look like that.
Did you have a parachute?
Um, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
So it had those crossbody seat straps.
Oh,
Yeah, I
so-
think that's how it is in military. It seemed like it.
well, yeah, because they don't want you to fly out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that dream, there was some accident that caused the plane to burn from the outside. So it caught fire on the outside, and panic and chaos ensued. There was like emergency lights flickering, emergency hazard audio was playing over a speaker. It was just, and everybody was, screaming. It was loud. For some reason, also in my dream, a lot of passengers were not buckled in at the time of the chaos, including myself, and I knew that Aiden wasn't buckled in either. So, at the point of the accident or the impact or the turbulence or whatever what had happened, I was frantically trying to make my way through the crowd, the panicking crowd, back to where I knew Aiden was supposed to be because apparently we were separate. I don't know why.
Yeah, it seems weird.
Yeah, you'd think I'd be right with him.
Yeah.
People were flying, like literally flying, being thrown because of impact and turbulence,
Oh.
left and right. So it was pretty bad, and I still couldn't make it to Aiden. And I was becoming more and more panicked and more undone, like unhinged, because I really wanted to get to him. And
Yeah.
so when I finally got to his seat or where his seat was supposed to be, he wasn't there. And there were people all around me. They were like literally dying because of injuries.
Oh man.
Um, but mostly because they weren't buckled in during all this turbulence. So they were like flying and hitting things they weren't supposed to be flying and hitting. So that like being thrown around like rag dolls
Yeah.
didn't make for many survivors in this dream.
Yeah. Generally on a plane, you're not supposed to fly around and hit things.
Uh-huh. Generally. I knew in my dream, I just knew in my heart that Aiden didn't make it. And I began frantically grieving and scream crying. Okay? But that wasn't it.
Oh,
It
that
didn't stop
okay.
there. It was awful. Guess what happened?
You died too.
No, the
Oh.
same goddamn thing. I literally re-dreamt the entire thing. Except this time I made it to Aiden's chair. I made it to Aiden's seat, and he hadn't made it. Like, well, he was there, but he
Oh.
hadn't made it.
Yeah.
His little body was right in front of me, and I was grieving and scream crying in the same way. And I was crying, rewriting this stupid ass dream.
Well, yeah.
But, like, it all replayed. Like a train wreck.
Yeah.
Like, why would my mind do that? What the fuck?
I don't know. Yeah. No, I can imagine that that kind of thing. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't say that you woke up groaning or crying or whatever.
Nope, I just woke up really sad.
Yeah.
I'm also surprised I didn't wake up groaning.
Oh, yeah. When I told you the dream about my dad, like, it was kind of the same thing. Like, I woke up really sad, but it's all good. It's all good now, you know.
Yeah, I have been really, really worried about him lately. I think that's why it's manifesting in my dreams. The worry.
You worry about Aiden?
Yeah, because at the start of the school year, it's another start of the school year where his mom, his big sister, and his big brother leave him.
Yeah.
And it was awful the first year that Julian went to school,
Yeah.
which was last year. He did not take it good, not at all. This year he's taking it really well, but I still worry about him.
Well, he's going to be going to school next year, right?
Yes, thankfully. There's only 2 years that separates them, but damn, that first year it ripped my fucking heart out, Dustin. Because in the mornings, literally almost every morning, he would cry.
Yeah.
Because he wanted his brother and his big sister and his mom to stay. He was like, why are they leaving?
Yeah.
So I was a mess. I was a wreck last year at the beginning of the school year because I would also cry. Okay, I'm a sympathy crier. Also, it's my baby. I was gonna cry anyway. Okay, so on top of that, I was crying for more reasons. So
Yeah.
this year he's taking it much, much better.
Good. I'm glad that he's adjusting.
Yeah,
Are you gonna sob when you have to take him to school?
absolutely. I cry every beginning of the school year.
Now, are you crying because they're going to school, or are you crying because you have to also go to school?
No, it's just them.
Oh, okay. Real quick, I do want to say that I remembered one of my dreams that I only wrote a line about, or I could have written a line about.
Okay.
And it was literally that I went to Elena's house. You know Elena,
Yeah.
a friend of mine from forever ago that has recently moved back. Anyway, I went to her house and her and me and her family watched a movie. That was
Oh,
the whole dream.
that's funny.
I remember
A
waking up
pleasant
going,
dream.
I remember waking up thinking, wow, that was a pretty good dream. And then I was like, wait, nothing actually happened. It was just wholesome, I guess.
Yep, a wholesome dream.
All right, what's another dream you had?
Another dream I had was, I guess I talked about all of them except these couple two that I wrote down in the past week.
Yeah.
Okay, one of them I only remember a little bit of, but it was part of some bigger dream that I don't recall. But I'm pretty sure we were on vacation, and I knew the kids were there, and I knew Nesta was there somewhere, and I had to. Well, Aiden had an accident that somehow ended up with poop in his hair.
Uh, yeah, kids are gross.
Yeah, I mean, and he was a toddler, so I was like, how did this, what? How did this happen? So in my dream, I was just completely grossed out and dreading the fact that I had to clean this poo out of this baby's hair. And for listeners, my son has very long,
Long, luxurious hair.
straight. Well, his hair's kind of thin,
I said
but he's got a
luxurious.
lot of it. So the fact that it's thin, I mean, it the poo smeared into his hair was gonna be a bitch to get out for sure. And I think I started cleaning it in my dream. I had took him to the shower, and I was like, "Oh God!" And I was like taking my hand slowly and trying to,
Uh,
grab it out, and it was just not going well. If you can imagine ice
uh,
cream, chocolate ice cream.
yeah, I
Um,
can imagine. I've seen Two Girls, One Cup.
oh no. Yeah, that was awful. But yeah, chocolate ice cream in hair, just smeared in it.
But with a way different smell.
Yeah, yep. I've had similar situations, okay, where it wasn't poo, but I had to
Uh-huh.
clean. Jillian was sick at some point, and the boys were sleeping together, and Jillian puked in bed, and I had to clean that shit out of Aiden's hair. And I
Mm.
think low key, I was trying to have. I mean, I'm pretty sure I told you this before that to people outside of me, they say I'm really calm under pressure. So I was trying to project total like just nonchalance at Aiden, like, oh, it's no big deal. Inside, I was screaming, screaming, and I was like, "Don't worry, baby," because I was so worried about him being traumatized by this incident. Like, they're tiny kids, okay? So, is he ever gonna trust his mother enough to be around him in the nighttime?
And
And
kids are resilient to that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I get it.
but he was, I was so worried because he was like when he when I was getting the shower ready to get, his hair cleaned out, he was like, he got it in my hair. And he was just saying, why is it in my hair? And I'm like, don't worry, baby. This is normal, okay? Sometimes people get sick and it'll get in places we don't expect. And he's like, you know, and so he remembered that for weeks after, right? And he would just he was like, and then Jillian, he threw up in my hair. This poor baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, the night of, he seemed pretty shook. He was shooketh
Yeah, I would say so.
because it was not a little bit. Okay,
Yeah.
just spare the details. But I will say, I didn't eat cheeseburgers again for a long time.
Oh, man, see, it's stories like this that make me so glad I don't have children.
Oh, I bet.
Because I'm just like, I don't have any, like, puke or poop stories about, like, me having to clean up after someone else.
Oh, lucky dog.
I know, right? I mean, I've had to clean up after dogs, speaking of dogs,
Yeah.
but, like, most of the time, it's not like they threw up and then rolled in it, or they they
Yeah.
pooped and then went and rolled in that.
Oh my God. There was this one video before of two white dogs, and the person taking the video, recording the video, was like, we just took them to the groomers. They got the whole shebang of cleaning, bathing, washing, and trimmed. They were
Mm.
looking pretty, okay? And then it showed it's the two dogs in the back of their car just covered in shit. Covered. Like, so it got on the ceiling somehow. Like, they
Oh
were
man.
rolling. They were rolling some kind of way, and they were both supposed to be white.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking gross too.
I love watching like dogs get so happy playing in mud puddles, and then
Yeah.
like you see them from chest up, they're like their normal color, but from like
Hmm.
that point down, they're just straight dark. like they've got mud so thickly caked all over them. They're just the mud.
They're mud now.
Yeah.
Mud mutt.
It's funny. Our dog is taken to doing this thing. I come home usually around 4 o'clock, and then I go into the kitchen where he is, and I sit down, kitchen, dining room, whatever. He like gets on me, and he sits at my feet for a little bit, chewing on whatever stick he's brought in for the day. Which, by the way, he brought in a giant log the other day, like log. And I looked at it, I was like, where did you even find that? First of all, we we live in a suburban neighborhood. There are no trees.
That's
Like,
funny.
there's no forest for him to find this at. Anyway, so after we sit there for a little bit, I get up. I let him out the back door because we've got a doggy door, but we keep it closed usually at night so he doesn't get into any trouble, and he's not out there barking, keeping the neighbors up. But I'll open up the back door, and he's taking to doing this thing where he follows me over there, and he sits, and then as I start to pull the thing up, he scratches at it, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, I don't need help."
The doggy door? He scratches the doggy door?
Yeah.
Huh.
He just goes while I'm pulling it up. So like it's going up, and he knows it's going up because he's seen it, but he just like scratches at it real quick and then runs out.
Oh no.
He's a weird dog.
Maybe he thinks he can't go out if he doesn't do it.
I guess, I don't know. But I think for a while he was afraid of the dark because the doggy door leads into I'm dead serious. The doggy door leads into
Oh
the
no.
garage.
Okay.
And then there's a door to the outside that's right on the other side of it that stays open constantly. But he goes out into the garage, and sometimes he'll stick his head out there, and then he'll stop and he'll look back at me like it's dark. I don't know what's out there. And I'm like, bruh, it's the same thing as what's out there in the light. And he looks at me like, are you sure? Anyway,
That's funny. Your dog sounds cute. Is
he's
he still
something
biting?
else. Yeah, he's a little bit.
No.
He bit me the other day. I mean, he doesn't bite hard,
Yeah.
because he doesn't like draw blood usually. He does from my dad, but my dad's got like paper thin skin because he's 74. He bites, he nips at you, and it's just like, bro, chill out. And then like if you like try to push him away or anything, that makes him think you're playing, and he just wants to do it harder. I'm like,
Yep.
you little son of a bitch.
I remember having a dog like that.
Yeah. Mostly he's a good dog. He has his moments.
Yeah.
The other day I was in here. So you remember I sent you those lyrics to that song that I was writing.
Yeah.
So the other day I was sitting in here in the living room, and he was sitting in the dining room, and I was kind of singing it to myself the way I could hear it in my head. He started barking because he had never really thought about like people singing before, and he was like, and he was looking at the back door, and I was like, bro, it's me. Chill out. And he was like, I don't know. I don't think so. I've heard you before.
You don't sound like that. He's like, I'm trying to protect you. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Did you, we got on a long tangent here about dogs. Did you have any more dreams?
I had one more dream that I wrote down just a line of, but there was like a lot more to it that I don't remember. But yeah, I wrote down, let's see, camping in a new home build with Nesto.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I did building a new home from scratch. So we were on some kind of land, some plot of land, and part of the house was already built. We'd done that, and then, but like there was no roof yet, so we had like a tent
Yeah.
inside of walls.
Okay.
And we were staying in there. And like there was a shower, but it was on the second floor, and it was like open to everything and everybody.
So it wasn't just wall frames. It was full on sheetrocked walls with no roof?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that's dumb. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. And then upstairs, okay, we hadn't gotten to the walls yet, and there was a shower. So I don't know how that worked. but we were able to shower when we needed it.
All right. Good thing you weren't smelly.
Yep. And that's all I remember from that dream.
Oh, okay. It was a short one. All right.
I mean, I think it was longer, but I don't remember the rest of it.
Yeah,
There was another dream I dreamt too. It was about driving.
that's my dream. Leave
Oh,
them alone.
oh. I kind of remember one now.
All right.
So, recently, in the past weeks or so, whenever I dream about driving,
Mm-hmm.
I'm either in the truck or a car, and we have to park somewhere. And whenever we have to park like precariously. Like it's between parallel parking, but bumper to bumper.
Okay.
Or like the car gets stuck or the truck gets stuck somewhere and we can't get it out. We can't maneuver it out easily. So like in one dream, I dreamt we were trying to leave. We're trying to pull out of somewhere we had been. And it seemed like in the dream it was like a construction site. So there were builders around with hard hats on. And the truck was behind some kind of pole and it was blocked on the all other sides by concrete blocks or those big old
Like for
on
the
the highway.
median? Yeah.
Yeah, it was blocked off on all sides by those. And then for some reason there was a pole in the space that was going up in the space where we were going to try and pull out. And that was the only way to get out. And Nesta was like, I think we can make it. And I was like, I don't think we can make it without without major damage to the truck. No. He's like, I think we could do it. And I'm like, no, we cannot. It's gonna fuck up the truck. And that's all I remember of that dream.
So you don't know whether you were right or he was right.
Right. Not in that one.
All right. I love the confidence. Yeah, we can make it. We can make it.
Fucking guy. We have driven the truck in and out of precarious places before. Well, I guess it wasn't our current truck.
Yeah.
We took that one once to a concert in Dallas. What's it called? With Big Tex?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, but there was like a concert nearby, or a concert place nearby, and I don't remember what
Probably
it
at the
was.
Cotton Bowl, or maybe it was at one of the other amphitheaters right there.
Yeah, it had to be it. It was a family values concert a million years ago, and we did not know how to get there, so we got a little lost, and we ended up pulling behind where you were supposed to come. Like there was a big parking lot, okay, and people were filling up the front, going from front to back,
Yeah.
and we got in there somehow behind all of those cars, so we had pulled in from the back somewhere. No one. So we got free parking that night.
Nice. You want to hear something funny?
What?
My mom and I were talking about drinking the other day. And we got on the topic of like times that we've been drunk or times that we've been with friends that were drunk. I started thinking about Nesto that night at IHOP when he
Oh my
broke
god.
the. He was so wasted. He
He
was like,
was.
I was trapped. I couldn't get out.
Yep. For
Oh dear
listeners,
Lord.
he had broken a bathroom stall.
Yeah, it was the latch on a bathroom stall by kicking the door open. Oh, those are good
And he
times.
was like
Good times.
whispering,
Yeah.
not whispering about it. Real
Yeah.
subtle.
I told her the story about him running away from you down the street as well.
That motherfucker. Yeah. I don't know. Did we tell this in the podcast before? I don't know.
I don't know, like a child though.
Yeah. So one night we gotten home from the club, and it was me and Ernesto and our friend Sam, who has also
Yeah,
been
that's
on the
how.
show,
Yeah,
and we pulled into our driveway. We live in the middle of suburbia at the time, and he did not want to get out of the car at first. Well, we finally got his ass out of the car. I think he rolled out at some point, and when we finally got his ass out, we start walking him towards our front door to get him inside, put him to bed, sleep it off, whatever. So he starts walking in like he's gonna walk in with us, like a normal human being. And this motherfucker says, "Psych!" And he takes off down the driveway, down the sidewalk of our suburban neighborhood. Okay, they're neighbors. It's like, what, 3 in the morning ish? And
yeah,
there's this giggling man running down the sidewalk. It was like, me and Sam just looked at each other and we were like, whoa, what do we do? I was like, do I really? I was so pissed at the time. I was like, do I really have to chase this motherfucker down the streets? This
yes.
drunk man, this drunk giggling man. The answer was yes. Yeah, so I had to go get him. And I started bringing him back a couple of times, and guess what? This motherfucker said the same goddamn thing. Psych! And then takes off in the opposite direction like a child.
Oh man.
And at some point, I think he was running in the street, but luckily it was like 3 in the morning and nobody was out driving. And oh man, he was a mess.
Yeah, drunk Nesto was something else.
He was something else. He was unhinged.
Yeah, but now those days are behind him,
Yeah.
and he's getting healthy apparently,
Yeah.
or at least trying to.
Mhm.
I have plenty of drinking stories, but mine are all throwing up or passing out or you know something like that.
Yeah. Mine aren't nearly as entertaining either. Some along the same lines. I just black out. And then I
Yeah,
hear stories about myself.
yeah.
That was also old me.
I don't I don't know if I've told this on the podcast, but I technically ruined reception pictures for my friend's wedding. Um,
Uh-oh.
I mean, I I don't consider it ruined, but I think his wife Leah does, and
Oh no.
she, so me and one of the other guys, Chad, were groomsmen in the wedding, and
Mm-hmm.
after the wedding, we were driving to the reception. Well, I rode with him, and he goes, "Hey, do you think we should go get beer real quick?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And he was like, "You know what? I like you, man." And then we drove like 20 miles out of the way because at that time you couldn't get alcohol in the city limits over here. So we had to
Mm-hmm.
drive 20 miles out of the way to go get alcohol. So we buy like a 12 pack, and we come back to where the reception is, and we're sitting in his truck drinking. When one of the other like bridesmaids comes in, and she's like, "Hey, where have you guys been?" Because the reception at this point started about 45 minutes ago, and we were all supposed to take photos. Nobody told us, so we just went and got beer. We're like, it's whatever. And then yeah, Leo was pretty pissed the rest of the night.
Uh-oh.
Like, I mean, if you had told us that we need to be there, we still may not have been, but We would have come up with a better excuse, probably. Yeah,
So, like, the fact they were ruined because y'all weren't part of them?
right. Because she had a very specific, I guess, vision in her head for how she wanted all the photos to look, for her wedding and her reception. Um,
Oh,
and we just kind of fucked off.
whoopsie daisies.
Yeah, he's all right though. That's also the same guy that I went on a double blind date with two girls and him. We were both meeting these girls that we had never met before, but somebody had set him up with a girl. But the only way she would go is if he found another guy friend, and I was that guy friend. And
Mm-hmm.
I had I had already had a 12-pack of beers that night over at my friend Kent's house because they were playing poker. And then we were going to go to Applebee's because Applebee's had dollar beer, and it was like $1 for a pint. Tell me why I had 27 beers while I was there. Um,
Jeez.
so I had the 12-pack plus the 27, and I legit do not remember meeting the. I remember sort of meeting the girls, but I don't remember much of anything else about that night. And
Wow.
and I just talked to him recently about it. I was like, "Do you remember that?" And he was like, "Yeah, I don't really remember the girls though." And I was like, "Me neither, bro." We might have been alcoholics.
Drunk on a blind date, huh?
Mm-hmm. I am
Yeah,
positive that I was not interesting.
that's funny. You
Anyway,
never know, man.
yeah, I mean, I guess drunk me could be like the most outgoing person.
The most interesting man in the world.
There you go. Um, so I guess we're ready for recommendations then.
Recommendations.
Recommendations. Changed it up there.
Recommendations. Yeah, I heard that. Something new.
All right.
All right,
Do you have your recommendation ready?
I'll go first.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna recommend this really weird, and I watched it a while ago, years ago. This really weird horror slash thriller
Okay.
called Mother. It's called Mother.
Ooh.
Have you ever watched it?
I haven't, but I remember wanting to watch it.
It's so weird. It's got Jennifer Lawrence in it. And I like her as an actress, so I watched it. And okay, so this movie is about a young woman. She's renovating a mansion that she is living in with her husband.
Hmm.
And one night they have somebody show up unexpectedly, a stranger. And then later on, that stranger's wife and other children also arrived. They're all they're all making themselves welcome in that home that they just arrived
Okay.
in. And as time goes on, the movie becomes more and more unhinged. Husband starts being super friendly. If I'm remembering correctly, it's her husband, but it might be the guest. I'm not sure. But one of them is super friendly to everyone in the house except for the main lady who actually lives there.
Okay.
And it just becomes like, in the end, a fever dream. It's like a fever dream, the whole thing. And it it was just really unsettling to watch.
Yeah.
I actually almost turned it off before the end of the movie because I remember watching it alone. So if you like feeling unsettled, or if you like
I do
thrillers,
sometimes.
yeah, then check it out.
All right. I will do that at some point. Okay, well, my recommendation, since you went in a horror, spooky, weird thriller type way, I think I'll go in a thriller direction also, and I'll recommend Disturbia.
Okay.
It's much older now. Shia LaBeouf, and he's a guy on house arrest. So it winds up being the same basic story as the movie Rear Window, which was an Alfred Hitchcock film from
Okay.
I think the '60s, um, where he's on house arrest, and so he's decided he's going to people watch in his neighborhood, and he starts looking into his neighbor's home, and he thinks he witnesses his neighbor murder someone. And so he calls the police. They say there's no evidence. They wind up coming out to the house, looking around, whatever. And so he decides it's up to him to prove that this guy's a murderer. You know, um,
Oh,
the the whole while still having his ankle bracelet on. That means he's supposed to be under house arrest. In
yeah.
the original Rear Window, it was actually that the guy had broken his leg. He lived like in an apartment building, the 20th floor or something like that, and so like he couldn't
Mm-hmm.
actually leave his apartment because he was in a wheelchair and stuff, and he was watching neighbors across the alleyway. But very good thriller, a bit of humor because it's Shia, back in Shia's heyday. This was like Transformers Shia.
Yeah.
It's a very good film. I'd highly recommend it.
Okay. I'll check it out.
All right. Well, I think we did the thing.
Yeah. So hit him with the outro, Dustin.
All right. Dun dun dun.
Thank you, Little Dreamers, for listening. Little Dreamers is our Patreon $5 subscription tier. Where can they listen to us, Dustin?
You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Sirius, Pandora, and now on YouTube.
Yes, and you can find us on the socials thanks to Dustin on the TikToks, the Instagrams, and the Twitters.
Yeah, the chat book and the face snap, those things.
True. Right.
We also have an email address at whatamdreams@gmail.com where you can send us your dreams, and we will rate them accordingly and probably make fun of you a little bit.
Just a teensy bit. And again, thank you for listening from the bottom of our hearts. And bye.
Bye. Forever.